Do you feel like you don't know how to tell people what is special about what you do without it coming off like you're bragging and being arrogant? Today we are getting into this, and I'm going to tell you how to brag without sounding like a jerk. This is part 3 of our personal brand statement series. There are 5 sentences in this personal brand statement framework, and we have already done the first 2. Your very simple intro and how to stand out from the competition. I'm doing an in-depth video on each of these sentences, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of them. This is the third sentence, the third one out of 5. And this one is a really fun one to do. I say that because it is sometimes hard for people to do this one. It's hard to brag about yourself, so I have a fun way to help you do that. We are so conditioned not to brag about ourselves and to not be arrogant or boastful. We are brought up to be putting the spotlight on other people, especially women. We're rewarded for being humble and quiet and not taking up too much attention. I grew up that way, and maybe you did too, so I had to figure this out. Today I'm going to share with you how you can brag without sounding like a jerk or feeling slimy or gross after you talk about yourself. The first thing you need to know is that bragging without sounding like a jerk is a skill, and you need to practice to get good at it. Especially if you want to build a business around yourself, this is something you need to learn how to do. And I've got some great tips for you, by the way, that will help you with this. If you don't tell people what's different about you or special or what you're good at, there's a good chance they will never know. There's nobody coming in to do that, so you've got to be the one to do it. And today, after we go over the basics, I'm going to share a tip that you can use to do this more easily. You can use it in your speaking or your writing. You can use it everywhere, and it makes it so much easier to brag without sounding like a jerk. First of all, people need to know what problem you've solved. They need to know that you are capable of solving it and that they can trust you. And this is conveyed by how well you articulate their problem. When you explain their problem to them in a way that really resonates with them, it makes them feel seen and heard, and it builds credibility and trust. If you can't explain this very easily, it might be a problem with your offer. You might want to go back and really review what problem you're solving, and then make sure that you know the benefit of it and what the transformation is. What is the change people experience when they come to you to solve this problem? I don't want you to fake this. You have to really believe this in your heart. Have it really locked down and clear, because if you don't believe it, no one else will. If you know what it is and you're just having a hard time explaining it, then that could just be the conditioning that you've grown up with, and we can get over that. A technique that may make this easier for you is that I would like you to start off by really leaning in to being an arrogant jerk secretly. You don't have to let people see you do this. You can do it in your journal. You can do it with a friend. You can do it with your coach. I just want you to really get into how great you are at what you do and the importance of the problem that you solve. Letting yourself loose like this will really give you some good information about the actual problem you solve and what you're passionate about. I know, I can feel the discomfort almost. I feel it myself. It feels even cringy just thinking about it, but I swear this will help you. Just grab your journal, lock yourself in a room, go do this somewhere in private so that you can just go off about how awesome you really are. Talk about the compliments that you get. Talk about the amazing things that they experience from working with you. Talk about all the things about you that make you so good at what you do. Don't worry, you can dial this back and make it into a statement that is the voice and the vibe that's comfortable for you. You don't have to put all the things that you come up with on paper, but this is a great way to break through that resistance we have to talking about ourselves in a way that we may have been brought up to believe is boasting or arrogant or unflattering. Here are some examples that might help you. For our nurse example, I love helping nurses create lucrative side businesses and see that they can find fun, rewarding, fulfilling work outside of the hospital. The accountant could say something like, "Nothing is more satisfying to me than finding wasted money and showing companies that they can cut back without feeling the pinch." And our lawyer speaker example could say something like, I love hearing from young women years later that the words that I shared with them and the example I set inspired them to do their own big things like going to medical school or writing books. As you can see, there's a theme here. This is all about sharing what we love about the work that we do. And I'm going to share more about that, but first I want to hear from you. You don't have to go all arrogant here if you don't want to, but I would love to hear, what is your favorite part of your work? What is the most satisfying thing for you in your work? I would love to hear it in the comments. This channel is still small enough that I can respond to every single comment myself. So go ahead and leave a comment and I will respond back to you personally. One of the most important takeaways I want you to have for today is that you can brag without sounding like a jerk if you do it with enthusiasm. You can get away with saying you're really good at something when you put it in this package of being excited about it or enthusiastic. The reason I know this is that we do this without meaning to all the time. I did this myself recently in a video where I shared one of my favorite things about being a coach is when people come in and say, oh, I'm just feeling better. And I know it's because we've been working on this together. We've been working so hard and they've been doing so much good work that's why they're feeling better. But in sharing my enthusiasm, I'm also sharing that I'm a part of that somehow as their coach, I was helpful in them getting to this place. You can do this too. Just share how much you love helping your clients reach their goals or do the thing that you help them do. Our next video is going to challenge you in a totally different way, but it's one of the most important parts of your whole personal brand statement. It's the fourth sentence, and it's all about building trust. So be sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that one. Be sure you leave your comment and I will respond to you. And I just want to say thank you so much for being here all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. I'm Annie Kipp and I will see you next time.